Dear brothers and sisters, last night I had a dream about someone named Mary who was riding along in the back seat of her vehicle, looking out her open window, watching Airbuses, very large airplanes, take off from cruise ships and fly high up into the sky. She was simultaneously watching a breaking news story that Martha, Steward, had murdered someone on board the cruise ship. Martha must have become quite angry and bitter and resentful at all the meals she had to make, dishes she had to wash, and clothes she had to hem. If only Martha had taken a moment or two longer to rest at the hem of Jesus' garments, perhaps things would have turned out differently in my dream. I saw some other people riding along in the back seat, like Mary, with their seat belts on so that they'd have the self-control to sit still, including John, who recorded the historical event in this scene in John chapter 11 as a witness, and also my older son, whose name means victory. It could have also been my sister, they have similar names, and I, who are currently reading through the book of John as we sit at the Master's feet. So my son and I are reading through the book of John. Although Jesus is always ahead of me, as I hadn't reached chapter 11 until after this dream. In my dream, I'd found some letters that I'd picked up, sent from someone named Pure to someone named Noble. And I thought, I'd better make sure I get these letters to the right people. I'd found the letters while packing up suitcases and boxes to leave what looked like a restful vacation spot with rooms surrounding a pool of water. I'd noticed my husband had included several bottles of new wine from the King's wine press in his box, along with his clothes. We were packing up to leave because there'd been a bomb threat. At least that's what we were told in my dream, so we'd clear the area. As people wearing gas masks continued to announce bomb threat, bomb threat, bomb threat all around the edges of a river, we floated through the middle of the river on boats, and it looked like we were in It's a Small World as we drank cups flowing with milk, rice milk for the new generation. In my dream, I'd seen myself alongside other women selling tickets to a long line of people wanting to get into this Bible study class. I'd heard beautiful music, and I wanted others to hear the music and to get into this class because it was getting late. Some people listening to the music, however, were more concerned about posting photos of themselves on the fridge so their classmates could see them. When they saw each other's pictures, they commented, "I'd like it, but I'm not in it." In my dream, once the last ticket had been sold to get into this class for 12 or for 41, I realized the ladies I'd been with working to sell tickets to the class hadn't mentioned anything to the ticket holders about the gift cards for the restaurants that came with the tickets. So how would the people even know about the gifts loaded with gracious amounts for delicious sources of meat? I went into the class and announced I would call ticket numbers to announce people's gifts. The ladies told me there should be 41 tickets, the last one being 41. Again, I wondered, a bit irritated, why isn't the last number 12 when there are 12 in the class? I called number 12, or more correctly, number 41, whose name was Daniel. The gift Daniel had won was a golden chassis. I would probably say chassis or chassis, but chassis is the correct French pronunciation. A golden chassis is the pure load-bearing framework of an artificial object, such as a vehicle, which structurally supports the object in its construction and function. The word chassis comes from the Latin word for box, which holds the new wine, the spirit, in my dream. In my dream, a man named Daniel commented that he had already received a golden chassis in junior high and that he didn't need a bigger one, even though his vehicle was now much larger. This man didn't realize that as we grow, our chassis grows larger. In my dream, I set aside the meaning of the number 41 a bit to be discovered when I woke up. I continued to dream and saw myself coloring a picture of seashells and footprints in the sand by a pool of water with the sun. I saw the father, the son's daddy, prepare some words for him with golden glitter. I noticed the father, the loving daddy, had prepared a whole drawer full of thoughtful things planned for his children, creative things. When I woke up, I began to straighten up the living room and the area with my son's school supplies. That's when I remembered the dream about the golden words as I placed my son's Christian writing workbook on his table along with the glue, and I spotted some golden glitter that I didn't know we still had. That sounded like more fun for my son, sprinkling glitter around instead of just begrudgingly tracing letters and writing words that had already been written. I first opened to the first page of the workbook, which was just basic lines and circles. The directions instructed me to turn to page 41 for something more advanced. That lesson was the words, "Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good," from Psalm 136:1. Taste and see that the Lord is good. He is the milk, he is the meat, he is the glue that holds us together. His word is pure and his words are golden. Let's listen to him for guidance. He is our support, our chassis, the integral part of our steering mechanism, providing us the means to control ourselves using our grip as if in prayer and traction while allowing us to make turns, avoid skidding, accelerate, and brake. When my son woke up, he told me he'd had quite the dream about being at the beach. And this is in real life now. He woke up and he told me he'd had quite the dream about being at the beach. His dream was about being at the beach with other people, around other people, and some foxes came to the beach. But when we got in the water, we were safe. Song of Solomon 2:15 says, "Catch for us the foxes, the little foxes that plunder the vineyards, for our vineyards are in blossom, are in bloom." There's a storm raging all around us, and we severely need to look to the living water to be our chassis. Thank you, Jesus. Peace. Be still.